Welcome to the Global Utopia Informate. Top selected news of the day. 1. Texas shooting. 8 killed by gunman in Allen Mall. A gunman has shot and killed 8 people shopping at a mall north of Dallas, Texas. Hundreds of people were evacuated from the Allen Premium Outlet Mall as eyewitnesses described a man firing indiscriminately at passers-by. A police officer on an unrelated call killed the gunman after hearing shots. Allen Fire Chief Jonathan Boyd said 7 people, including the gunman, were pronounced dead at the scene and 2 died later in hospital. 2. Ukraine war. Mad panic. As Russia evacuates town near Zaporizhzhia plant. Russia has sparked a mad panic as it evacuates a town near the contested Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, a Ukrainian official says. Russia has told people to leave 18 settlements in the Zaporizhzhia region, including Anahdar near the plant, ahead of Kyiv's anticipated offensive. The UN's nuclear watchdog warned a severe nuclear accident could occur. Rafael Grossi, the director of the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, said the situation at the Zaporizhzhia plant was becoming increasingly unpredictable and potentially dangerous. 3. Warren Buffett says American banks could face more turbulence ahead, but deposits are safe. Berkshire Hathaway CEO Warren Buffett on Saturday assailed regulators, politicians and the media for confusing the public about the safety of U.S. banks and said that conditions could worsen. "We want to be there if the banking system temporarily gets stalled in some way," he said. "It shouldn't. I don't think it will, but it could." 4. Amazon is the 500-pound gorilla in a room full of puppies when it comes to corporate buying of wind and solar power. In 2022, Amazon bought 10.9 gigawatts of clean power, enough energy to power the entire country of Ecuador. Amazon has pledged to power its operations with 100% renewable energy by 2025. As of January, it has 164 utility-scale wind and solar farms, and 237 on-site rooftop solar facilities. Getting new wind and solar connected to the grid in the US requires serious planning because of transmission congestion. In some countries, it requires new regulations.
ಈ ಬಾರಿಯ ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ಬಹುಮತದ ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ಸರ್ಕಾರ.
5. India. PM Modi's 10-kilometer Bengaluru roadshow marks BJP's all-out push for Karnataka polls. PM Modi also held a nearly 26 kilometers roadshow yesterday in the city covering nearly 13 constituencies. With just 3 days to go for the Karnataka polls, the BJP's assembly election campaign is in its last leg, and the party is going all in to leverage the PM for the last push to retain power in what is expected to be a very closely contested election. 6. Pakistan. At Islamabad meeting, a key agreement was made between China and Taliban. China, Russia, and Iran are among a handful of countries that maintain warm ties with the Taliban. The Taliban agreed with China and Pakistan to extend the Belt and Road Initiative to Afghanistan, potentially drawing in billions of dollars to fund infrastructure projects in the sanctions-hit country. Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang and his Pakistani counterpart Bilawal Bhutto Zardari met in Islamabad on Saturday and pledged to work together on Afghanistan's reconstruction process, including taking the $60 billion China-Pakistan economic corridor to the Taliban-ruled nation.
Crying, hoping, and waiting. People grieved for lost loved ones after powerful floods and landslides tore through the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Dozens of people died after the heavy rain destroyed buildings and forced aid workers to gather mud-clad corpses into piles.
7. Congo flooding and landslides leave more than 200 dead as village turned into wasteland. Hundreds of homes have been washed away in a village in South Kivu province, where rescue workers and survivors have been digging through mud in the search for more bodies. 8. Russia-Ukraine war. Wagner chief says Moscow promised more arms. Russian paramilitary leader Yevgeny Prigozhin says he has received a promise of more ammunition from the Russian army, after he threatened to pull his frontline Wagner troops out of Bakhmut. 9. Canada. Alberta announces state of emergency as wildfires force 25,000 people to flee. Thousands more have been told to be prepared to leave on a moment's notice, as the number of fires fanned by strong winds jumped to 110.
the oldest president the US has ever seen, is running again.
He's a little old, and if I can't join the Army at 58, I don't think he should run the country at 80, and how old will he be? 84?
86, actually, if he finishes out a second term.
It's too old. Definitely too old.
10. Broad doubts about Biden's age and acuity spell Republican opportunity in 2024 poll. President Joe Biden's job approval rating hit a career low in the latest ABC News, Washington Post poll, and a broad 68% of Americans say he's too old for another term as president, views that put him in a trailing position against top Republicans in early preferences for 2024.
Well, it could cost California more than $800 billion to provide reparations for the descendants of enslaved people.
Public hearings on reparations are happening today and tomorrow, and Jason Marks joins us with
11. California reparations panel approves report that could mean billions for black residents. A reparations agreement still must be voted through the California legislature and signed by Governor Newsom. The state of California's first-in-the-nation reparations task force has voted to approve recommendations for how the state should compensate and apologize to black Americans in response to slavery. Other top headlines that should be noted this hour. 1. Wagner boss Prigozhin suggests his forces may stay in Bakhmut area after being promised more ammunitions. 2. Italy's former Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi, an 86-year-old, suffering from leukemia, has told supporters he's ready to go back to work after a month in hospital. 3. USA record high temperatures are hitting the heartland as more than 45 million Americans across 14 states are on alert for strong to severe storms. Areas on high alerts are Texas and southern Oklahoma, Missouri, Illinois and Iowa, including St. Louis. 4. People in the Serbian capital, Belgrade, on Saturday continued to lay flowers and light candles in front of the school where earlier this week a 13-year-old boy opened fire on his fellow students. 7 girls, a boy, and a school guard were killed in the incident. 5. India, all-women parade next Republic Day, sends memo to forces. Next year's Republic Day parade could feature only women participants, from the marching contingents and bands to the tableaux and performances, government sources said on Sunday, in a radical shake-up that is bound to make a statement. 6. UK Culture Secretary Lucy Fraser has admitted the local election results were not good for the Conservatives, but insists Rishi Sunak is starting to deliver in a quiet way for the British people. 7. Russia blames Ukraine for car bombing that injured pro-Putin novelist Zakha Prolapin. The blast that hit the car of Zakha Prolapin, a well-known nationalist writer and an ardent supporter of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. 8. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said Sunday that his heart aches over South Korea's colonial-era suffering, as he hailed fresh efforts to mend Tokyo's long-strained ties with Seoul at a landmark summit. 9. Iraq is seeking urgent international assistance to prevent its Tigris and Euphrates rivers from shriveling as a result of climate change, Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani said at an event in Baghdad. 10. Turkish opposition candidate Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu calls for change. Thousands gathered at a rally in Istanbul on Saturday to express their support for the opposition leader.